Vic Mullen, grumpy old Scotsman, how's everybody doing? Last video of the week. We all know that I don't usually upload a video on a Sunday. You've probably seen on the news, Maccabi, I hope I'm pronouncing this football team's name right, Maccabi Tel Aviv's football fans will be banned from Villa Park. Apparently they're playing some European Champions League thing or something. So it's Maccabi Tel Aviv versus Aston Villa at Villa Park. So Villa is playing at home. And I thought, well, you know, maybe Maccabi Tel Aviv has the same problem that the English football team had with their supporters back in the late 80s, early 1990s. Football hooliganism is not just an English thing. There's a lot of very, very big teams that still have football hooligan problems to this day. Then I've done a bit of digging. Let me show you this first of all. This is from the Telegraph from the end of last year. Flick this over. Revealed how pro-Palestinian mob organised via WhatsApp to hunt Jews across Amsterdam. The most famous and revered stop on Amsterdam's tourist trail is the four-storey house on the Prinsengracht Canal, hope I got that name right, where the diarist Anne Frank lived in hiding for 2 years. Now a museum, is one of Europe's most powerful reminders of the Holocaust, with a near-sacred status as a memorial to Jews like Anne who were exterminated by the Nazis. On Thursday night, a terrible echo of the Jew hunts that took place during the German occupation played out just a few hundred yards from Anne Frank's house as Israeli football fans were pursued through the streets and attacked. And here's the thing, it wasn't just happening there. If you do even more digging, it's not just Maccabi Tel Aviv. It is literally any major sports team in Israel. If they have a match somewhere in Europe or a match somewhere in the UK, that kind of thing generally tends to happen. Pro-Palestinians end up teaming up with radical Islamists. They form groups and they chase down the Jewish fans at night on the streets. Speaking of radical Islamists, this man is a domestic terrorist. He pretends to be an Islamic preacher, but he's a domestic terrorist, and he should be treated as such. This man's name is Asrar Rashid. He is one of the Islamic preachers, domestic terrorists, masquerading as an Islamic preacher in Birmingham. And this is what this man had to say about those Tel Aviv fans.
We not only safeguard those who are vulnerable, we safeguard women from such exploitation. We safeguard the vulnerable from any type of exploitation. That is the character of a Muslim, or has a Muslim as a rahmah. This, remember, rahmah is in its place. It's in its place. When the Tel Aviv fans come to Birmingham in a few weeks, we will not show them rahmah in Birmingham. But it has its time and place.
We will not show them rahmah in Birmingham. Rahmah basically means mercy, or the willingness to give mercy. Rahmah. We will not show them rahmah in Birmingham. Who exactly is we, Mr. Domestic Terrorist Islamic Preacher? Who's we? That was basically a call to violence. That's essentially what that was. And that is an Islamic preacher based in Birmingham, where Aston Villa is, and he was speaking only a few weeks before this match is supposed to take place. So, dear viewer, especially if you're in the United States, because us people here in the UK, we're kind of used to seeing this now, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, hold on a minute, grumpy old Scotsman, why don't the police do anything about this? Well, here's the thing. You see, Birmingham's got a bit of a problem, and the problem is called Islam. Not Islam in its totalitarian or totalness, but the fact that Islam is a minority in Birmingham. They don't have the majority, But when it comes to religious beliefs and the percentages of people in Birmingham with a religious belief, Islam, or believers of the Islamic faith, are the majority in the minority section. The bulk of it is still Christian, or Christian-based, or no Christian beliefs, or no religious beliefs. But when you look at the minority section, like, Hindu, Jew, Islam is the majority section of that area. It has been stated by several professors. One of them is that guy that's bald in the middle with the hair that goes out like this, and he wears I can't remember his name now, but he usually shows up on the BBC to do political stuff. He's a professor in London. I can't remember his name now. He always does political stuff whenever there's an election on. But he actually said this 2 years ago. The rate of incoming migration into Birmingham, coupled with the birth rate of the Islamic followers in Birmingham, basically means that within 1.5 or at most 2 generations, Islam will become the majority faith in the city of Birmingham. Now, you take the current status of the percentage of Islamic followers in Birmingham, the current percentage in Birmingham, and you translate that to their police force, because the police force of Birmingham has a higher percentage of Muslims, and more especially Islamic faith followers in that police force than most of the other major cities in the UK. And it might even be at the top position above London. It might actually be at the top position. So there is a majorative minority of Islamic following police officers within the Birmingham police force. Now you know why Islamic domestic terrorist hate preachers based in Birmingham don't get arrested. And before, because I know some of you out there, you far left wingnut communist lefty lunatics are probably saying, oh, Vic's an Islamophobe! He's an Islamophobe! Quick, cancel him! Take this speech again, right? Take this speech again.
The vulnerable from any type of exploitation. That is the character of a Muslim, or has a Muslim as a rahmah. Remember, rahmah is in its place. It's in its place. When the Tel Aviv fans come to Birmingham in a few weeks, we will not show them rahmah in Birmingham.
Take that part right there. We will not show them rahmah in Birmingham. Basically publicly admitting in his own mosque in Birmingham via a live broadcast that they will not show the Israeli/Jewish football fans any mercy. Take that speech and transplant it to 20 years ago. 2005. If this Islamic hate preacher was to say the exact same words in Birmingham in 2005, what do you think would have happened to him? This was before Islam had a majorative minority in Birmingham. Sure, they were sitting at round about 3 or 4% of the entire Birmingham population, but they were in the minority. Take what he just said and cast your mind back to 2005 and have that same Islamic preacher say the exact same words in a Birmingham mosque live in a live broadcast in 2005. What do you think would have happened? He would have been arrested and deported. The exact same thing that happened to the Islamic hate preacher that had that hook thing on his hand. Deported. The difference between then and now is the Islamic, not all of them, but the radical Islamists, like this guy you just watched, they are now in a position of power. The police force in Birmingham has a large percentage, in the minorities, but still a large percentage, of Islamic followers. The City Council in Birmingham has a large percentage, but it's still in the minority, of Islamic followers. There are enclaves of radical Islamic streets in Birmingham where if you're a non-Islamist or you're white, it's essentially a no-go area. And here you have an Islamic preacher saying to his followers to show the Israeli Jewish football supporters no mercy. They don't get arrested for this, but the Jewish supporters get banned from attending the football match. Where exactly are we living right now, people? Are we living in the United Kingdom, or are we living at the end of the Weimar Republic in Germany, just before the National Socialist Workers' Party takes over the Reichstag? Are we at that position right now where football clubs, backed up by a police force, are now singling out a minority religion to ban them from a football match for the safety of the football match, even though this minority religion has not came out publicly and said, show the Islamist radicals no mercy. Even though this minority religious football supporting group has not went on WhatsApp to hunt down other Islamic followers. Is this where we are now? Is it? Allow the Islamic hate preachers to preach hate with no repercussions. None. Instead of banning them and deporting them, ban the football fans from coming over. Is this where we are now? Is it? There are definitive shades of the fall of the Weimar Republic in Germany. The mid-1930s. Look it up if you don't know the history. Why Adolf Hitler came to power. It wasn't just a case of, oh, here's Hitler. Oh no, it was a very, very slow, very deliberate run-up. Very slow, very deliberate run-up. All the way through the final years of the Weimar Republic in Germany, the Jews were painted in a darker and darker and darker light. To the point that when the Reichstag went up in flames, the Jews were blamed, even though it turned out it was members of the SS that done it. But we're now at that stage where instead of banning and deporting Muslim hate preachers, or Islamic hate preachers, who are hate preaching to show Jewish football fans no mercy, we're now at the stage where we're not banning that. Instead, we're banning the Jews. Tell me why we're not so different from the latter end of the Weimar Republic, when this sort of thing is not the exception anymore. When more and more and more places are seeing a rise in anti-Semitism, where British-born Jews are beaten up on the street, and now Islamic domestic terrorist hate preachers can essentially call for violence against Jews anytime they damn well want, and they know they will not be arrested. And yet, dear viewer, to wrap this video up, 15,000 rough estimate, some people are saying 20,000, I'm going with the more conservative estimate, 15,000 British citizens have had a on the door from their local police force saying, oh, you typed an Islamophobic thing on Twitter, or you typed something nasty about illegal immigrants on Twitter, or you typed something the Labour Party doesn't agree with on Facebook, we're going to confiscate your phone, we're going to confiscate your computer, and we're going to arrest you. Would it surprise you to know, probably not, that out of the allegedly 15,000 people arrested for thought crimes on social media, the big, like 95% majorative of them are white British citizens. Yeah. White British citizens being arrested for typing something the Labour Party doesn't agree with on the social media. And here you have a hate preacher, an Islamic domestic terrorist preacher in Birmingham, openly calling to show Jewish football fans visiting Birmingham no mercy. He didn't get arrested. What? Welcome to the United Kingdom, where this country is slowly going insane. That's it from me, folks. Have a good Sunday, and I'll see you all on Monday.